First on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Good morning to you and welcome into Fox 10 Midday today. It's Thursday, March 26th. I'm Ashley Mitchell.
And I'm meteorologist Hannah Fink.
Hannah, a warm start to the day for sure. I stepped outside just moments ago and we're feeling a little humid too.
Yes, our muggy meter is finally coming out more consistently after dry like conditions, and that's not going to be the case anymore. But let's take a live look outside right now. Seeing plenty of sunshine near our coastline, still seeing those lingering stratocumulus clouds that developed this morning. It actually helped with our fog development as well, which when I say fog development, meaning getting rid of it, we did have the dense fog advisory till 10 a.m., but it did get dropped around 9 a.m. because of those cloud coverage. But don't worry, those will clear out by the time we get to this afternoon. But temperatures right now across the area, a lot of us getting to about 70 degrees, 66 right now in Mobile, 73 in Gulf Shores, 71 in Navarre, 75 in Pensacola, 70 in Atmore, 65 in Monroeville, 68 in Chatham, and 71 over in Lucedale. And over the next 10 hours, temperatures are going to continue to go up. Not much of a surprise there. And our cloud coverage is going to decrease as well, especially by the middle parts of this afternoon. We're going to have a southerly wind as well. But temperatures will be near 81 degrees by 2 p.m. Then getting to the mid 70s by 6 p.m. Southerly wind around 10 miles per hour. So yes, a slight breeze, but that's what's giving us that humid feel is because of that southerly flow. But our temperature outlook, especially going into Easter, we're looking at another warmer than average pattern, so those 80-degree temperatures look to not be going very far. And then our dew points right now, definitely feeling it like Ashlyn just mentioned. We're in that noticeable category for the most part, and that's going to stay pretty consistent over the next 10-hour period as well. We'll be grazing that a bit humid category with our dew points in the lower to mid 60s throughout the day today. Here's a look at our muggy meter over the next 5 days. So we're going to be grazing that a bit humid category today and tomorrow. Then we have a front moving through on Friday. Now you hear front, you're probably thinking rain. That's actually not the case. It's going to adjust our temperatures a little bit, but bring us dry conditions for the weekend and then much more humid conditions starting on Monday. And then I brought up rainfall. Yes, we're looking at the possibility of seeing some rain possibly into the week of Easter, but we're going to not see much. We'll be breaking down what exactly that means for us, but much warmer temperatures are here to stay in the forecast.
All right, good to know, Hannah. Thank you. And new on midday today, a 64-year-old man is behind bars after police say he broke into a woman's home at gunpoint last night. This all happened around 9 o'clock on Brown Road. Investigators say Arthur Pledger forced his way inside armed with a handgun, searching for a gun he believed the woman had stolen from him earlier that day. Pledger is now in Metro Jail charged with first-degree burglary. And Foley police arresting 37-year-old Bruce Sterling Williams after officers were called to Daly Lane yesterday afternoon for a stabbing. Investigators say Williams stabbed a woman with a screwdriver. Police say when they arrived to arrest Williams, there was a brief standoff because he refused to comply with commands. Investigators say a canine with the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office was deployed to locate him in the home. Officials say after the dog found him and they brought him outside the home, he was taken to the hospital for injuries sustained during the dog apprehension. Williams is facing 2 charges, second-degree assault and domestic violence of strangulation. And meanwhile, investigators in Walton County, Florida are offering a timeline for what led to a 12-year-old boy attacking students at a middle school. Deputies say the boy put on a mask and stabbed 2 students and a paraprofessional with a kitchen knife yesterday at Walton Middle. The stabbing happened just before school started. Investigators and school district officials say there was no sign that the attacks would take place.
There was no relationship between, to our knowledge, by an investigation yet, there is no relationship between the victims and the suspect. Unless something comes up past then, as far as we understand, this is a completely random set of victims, okay? So I want to be clear about that because I think there's some misunderstanding that maybe have been previous altercation between them. Maybe an investigation comes up and shows us something differently, but at this point, there is absolutely nothing to indicate that at this point.
Deputies say the paraprofessional was released from the hospital, and we're told the 2 students are currently in intensive care. Well, Fox 10 News is working to get police body cam video of a shootout between 2 officers and a business owner in Sims. The footage was released after a Mobile County grand jury cleared Johnny Bowman Jr. and the 2 officers of any wrongdoing, finding all parties acted in a legally responsible way. Fox 10 went to the Sims Police headquarters to request the video, which we're told was given to another local news station. However, Chief Todd Friend referred us to the city attorney. That directly contradicts what Sims Mayor Brandon Van Hook posted to Facebook, writing, quote, "As I promised from the beginning, once the grand jury proceedings were completed, we would release the video to the public," end quote. We have much more on this story on our website, fox10tv.com. And today, more developments in the federal case of a local florist charged with child sex crimes. Tyler McElwain pleaded guilty yesterday to 2 counts, sexual exploitation of a minor and attempted enticement of a minor. The original federal indictment included 10 counts, but as part of the plea agreement, the judge could dismiss those remaining counts at sentencing. McElwain's sentencing, by the way, is set for June 25th, and he faces a minimum of 15 years in federal prison. McElwain's attorney, Maxine Walters, declined to comment to Fox 10 News after yesterday's hearing. And more charges for a Baldwin County man already accused of sexually abusing a child. Daniel Kuhn now faces 3 counts of sodomy and 1 count of providing methamphetamine to a minor after 2 new sodomy charges were filed against him this week. Court records show the new charges stem from alleged crimes against the same victim. Ashley Kuhn faces charges as well, including rape, sodomy, child exploitation, and providing meth to a minor. So far, though, no new charges have been filed against her. Both are being held on cash-only bonds, Ashley at $450,000 and Daniel at $300,000. Well, it's a race against time as a pair of local legislators try to put the brakes on a new solar site set up to go up in Stockton. State Senator Greg Albritton and State Representative Matt Simpson each introduced bills that could temporarily stop the Stockton facility or any other solar site from moving forward. The first bill would put a 1-year moratorium on new solar farm development, and the second would give county commissioners regulatory control over any future solar facilities built in their jurisdictions. That bill has already passed a House committee, and the moratorium is expected to go to committee next week. Now, the Senate version of the bills are still waiting to move forward. Several Baldwin County residents and elected officials support the legislation and hope other lawmakers get on board quickly.
The residents, the citizens here, we feel like we're in an emergency crisis moment, and we're hopeful that their peers can understand that, and hopefully they can imagine something similar happening in their same counties. And if they do a little digging, they might find that similar utility scale solar sites might be secretly lurking in the deeds in their unzoned and unincorporated areas as well.
The regular legislative session does end April 16th, and there is no assurance that a new law at this stage would halt projects already approved by the Alabama Public Service Commission. As the war in Ukraine ramps back up, drone attacks took out more than 40% of Russia's oil export capacity, potentially crippling the economy and hampering Moscow's ability to continue the war. Fox News correspondent Benjamin Hall has more from London.
Fires that erupted from a major Russian oil port could be seen as far as Finland, part of a new Ukrainian offensive targeting Russia's most valuable commodity. The Ukrainians have now knocked out more than 40% of Russia's oil export capacity, hitting pipelines, refineries and pumping stations. It is a direct effort to choke off energy revenues that fund Moscow's war machine. And now Ukraine is asking its European allies to help.
We need joint action to create strong laws in Europe that allow countries to block Russian tankers and confiscate the oil.
These new attacks came just days after Russia launched almost 1,000 drones in a 24-hour period, signaling the start of their spring offensive. But experts say Ukraine is now in a better position to defend itself.
We've seen Ukrainians deploy and their multi-layered air defense. It takes these massive assaults to even get anything through the air defense.
Meanwhile, the Russians say talks are proceeding, but major sticking points remain, including land concessions.
The territorial issue in particular constitutes the central topic for discussion. There has been no progress on this matter whatsoever, and there still isn't.
President Trump is still pushing for a diplomatic solution, but also says it won't be easy.
You'll find out that hatred is not good for making deals. These are people that They don't like each other very much.
The latest round of talks was held over the weekend between the US and Ukraine's negotiating team, but it is unclear when they'll meet again. In London, Benjamin Hall, Fox News.
U.S. forces continue to devastate Iranian targets. Military officials say they've hit over 10,000 in nearly a month, destroying Iran's Navy, Air Force, and weapons facilities. And President Trump thinks the war could wrap up soon. But the president is frustrated by Iran's mixed messaging. Publicly, Iranian officials say they're not negotiating. However, Pakistan's foreign minister confirmed, quote, U.S.-Iran indirect talks are taking place through messages being relayed by Pakistan. And the country could ultimately host face-to-face negotiations.
They are begging to make a deal, not me. They're begging to make a deal.
But time is running out to make that deal. The president's pause on striking Iran's energy infrastructure expires tomorrow. And if the Strait of Hormuz isn't back open, the U.S. military is ready to take it by force. Army paratroopers and more Marines are already on the way there. Well, crowds gathering outside a Manhattan federal court where former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife are expected to appear. Maduro and his wife are due in court today as his lawyers have tried to have his drug trafficking indictment thrown out due to a dispute over legal fees. Pro-Maduro supporters were outside early Thursday demanding the release of Maduro and his wife Celia Flores. It will be their first appearance since their January arraignment, where Maduro protested their capture by U.S. military forces. Both Maduro and his wife have pled not guilty to those drug trafficking charges. 11:11 now on your Thursday. Straight ahead, Chris Burns with Burns Estate Planning and Wealth Advisors talks about what the current state of the stock market means if you're getting ready to retire. But first, Hannah, not a bad day for a cat nap in the shade.
Not a bad day at all. Definitely a warm one at that. Here's a look at Miss Caramella Parnell, submitted by Natalie Parnell. 75 degrees by noon. We'll have a lot more sunshine by the time we get to 3 p.m. with temperatures in the 80s. Another warm day across the Gulf Coast and a great day for a cat nap. We'll have more on your overall forecast coming up after these messages.
Welcome back. The Dow just crossed a historic milestone, closing above 50,000 for the first time after a massive 1,200-point gain in just a single day. It's a sign of strong investor optimism, but if you are nearing retirement, it may also raise an important question. What exactly does this mean for your savings? And joining us this morning to talk about this is financial advisor Chris Burns. Chris, welcome back and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So why is a record high moment especially important for people close to retiring?
Well, people, when they hear the term markets are at all-time highs, they get nervous that, well, maybe this is the best time for maybe to take some money out of the markets. But when you take a look at how many all-time highs were set last year and the year prior, it's honestly, in the grand scheme of things, it's just another number.
Okay, good to know. So does that mean that people should be pulling out of the market right now?
It depends, okay. And the reason why it depends is it's what is the goal of those dollars, right? If this is money that you're planning on using maybe over the next couple months or this year, taking money out at the top of the market, I mean, that's your job. That's a good thing to do, right? But if this is money that you've got a much longer term outlook on, maybe 3+ years, what is the end goal, right? Maybe you are able to keep some of those dollars invested. But the biggest thing is make sure you've got the proper amount of risk in the proper accounts. Sure, you mentioned planning is very important there, but what other kinds of strategies can help provide that protection long term? So when it comes to protection against the market is going to do what the market does, and it's not going to ask you for permission, right? So the easiest way that you can protect yourself against the market is to understand how much risk you're taking proportionate to the market and make sure that the amount of risk you're taking is comfortable. So not if, but when markets go up 20% or go down 20%, you're not standing there going, oh my God, what should I do, right? Because the worst thing that you ever want to do is, what should I do? The correct question is, what have I done to prepare myself for this situation? A thought-provoking question there for sure. What exactly is the big takeaway for someone who is watching the Dow at 50,000? I think the biggest takeaway is simply to understand what is the goal of your dollars and what is the goal of each account that you have. Some accounts, like your tax-free accounts, like your Roths or your Roth 401k, great growth opportunity, right? And if you're not touching these dollars, you're still working, or say you're 10 plus years away from retirement, what happens over the next couple months isn't really going to matter. If anything, if markets say go down 10 or 15%, and you've got 10 plus years of working, that's probably a buying opportunity. But if you're already retired, right, that's making sure that you understand the risk and where your dollars are going to come from this year.
Sure. I know these conversations can be difficult and intimidating just for the average everyday person. How can you guys help translate that and simplify it down?
The way that we help is we help you understand exactly how much risk you're taking proportionate to the market, and also we want to take a look at that from a tax planning standpoint too. So when markets go down, try to turn a negative into a positive. Are these dollars that you can pay a reduced price on and convert those dollars over, so that not if but when markets go back up, that's going to recover in a tax-free bucket? So combining those two things together can really help a retiree maximize the income they've taken into retirement, but also take a little bit of fear and uncertainty out of the market for them.
Very good. Anything else we need to know about this specific topic before we wrap up our interview today?
I think, I say this at pretty much every time you have me here, is have a plan, right? If you currently don't have a plan and you can't tell me exactly what is the goal of each one of these buckets of dollars or how much risk you're taking proportionate to the market, it sounds like you should probably sit down with a retirement advisor and build out a retirement plan, so that you've got like basically a roadmap, so you can say, this is what I need to do if scenario A happens, or B or C.
Yeah, and if you're watching right now and you are ready to make that plan right away or during this commercial break, you can find much more information on our website about Burns Estate Planning and Wealth Advisors at fox10tv.com, as well as a link to this complete interview. As always, Chris, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Taking a live look outside this time at Pensacola Beach. People are enjoying the beautiful sunny weather we are having across the Gulf Coast. Make sure you have that sunscreen on, and we do have a low risk of rip curls today, so definitely a great day to be at the beach. Now here's what we're tracking for our weather headlines. A warm and sunny day today. We're tracking more fog that could develop into the overnight hours, and that drought we've been dealing with is going to continue on. So our forecast highs today, another well above average day, usually about 74 degrees this time of year. Well, so most of us are going to be in the lower to mid 80s across the Fox 10 viewing area. 81 for a high in Mobile, 84 in Lakesville, 82 in Chatham, 84 in Brewton, 74 in Fairhope, and 76 for a high in Pensacola. For your backyard forecast, a lot of people are going to be outdoors enjoying the nice weather. We'll have plenty of sunshine, especially by 3 o'clock. Some of us are still having those lingering clouds this morning, but don't worry, those will clear up by this afternoon. About 81 degrees starting at 3 o'clock. We'll still be in the 80s till about 6 p.m. when we get back into the mid 70s. A warm and slightly humid day overall with mostly clear skies. Now our beach forecast, though, it's actually looking quite well this time of year, and the low risk of rip curls is going to continue on for our Alabama beaches. 72 for a high in Dauphin Island, and then moving across the Gulf Coast waters, we'll have a high of 75 in Gulf Shores, and then 76 over in Orange Beach, with a low risk of rip currents in our Florida beaches as well. The high of 73 in Pensacola Beach. Burn time is going to be 30 minutes, so definitely going to want to make sure you have that sunscreen. Then 75 in Navarre Beach, then 74 in Windhaven Beach, and then 72 in Fort Walton Beach, and then 73 in Destin. Now our UV index is at the point where it's going to be very high, and that's going to look to be pretty consistent. So burn time 20 to 30 minutes, and you're going to want to apply consistently, especially between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. That is the peak burn hours. Now our rip curl risk is going to stay low over the next couple of days, but transitioning into a high risk starting on Sunday as well as Monday. That's because of the flow we're about to get after a front passes on through. So make sure you're paying attention to those beach flags. But for our evening planner, 80 degrees at 5 o'clock. Then we'll be into the 70s starting at 6, then into the 60s starting by 8 p.m. The main concern tonight, although it is going to be warm and a mostly clear night, it will be pleasant. But if you're driving, we're concerned with some dense fog developing into the overnight hours. Our enhanced fogcast is showing some fog developing as early as 8, 9 o'clock tonight, then spreading inland throughout the entirety of the night. Seeing a lot of half-mile visibility on our enhanced fogcast, so probably a dense fog advisor will be issued tonight, and then we're not going to see any clearing until 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So if you're an early morning commuter, make sure you give yourself some time and then leave early as well, and then be careful on those roadways. But for our day planner tomorrow, we're going to have another warm day, probably even record heat for our Friday. Weekend forecast, it's going to be into the 70s because of a front moving through. Much cooler conditions in the morning. No rain, though, with that front moving through. As you can see, for our rain rainfall almanac. We're still well below where we're supposed to be, nearly 8 inches for the year, about 1.1 inches for the month. And then here's a look at our rainfall outlook. In the next 6 to 10 days, we could see some showers. Yes, the key word is could, but not a lot of us are. Our rain chances over the next 7 days are going to stay dry until about mid next week, where we could see a small chance of rain starting on Wednesday, maybe even on Tuesday. But it's not going to help us out all that much. We're going to continue to see worsening drought-like conditions across the entire Gulf Coast area. And for our 7-day forecast, plenty of sunshine. We have that cold front moving through on Friday, which is not going to do much for us rain-wise, but will adjust our temperatures to right where we're supposed to be and bring down our humidity levels as well. But that doesn't stick around very long. We'll have rain into next week and temperatures near 80 degrees.
All right, Hannah, thank you for that update there. Did you know every 2 seconds someone is in need of a blood transfusion? Well, happening right now, you have a chance to roll up your sleeves and help save a life. Baldwin EMC is hosting their Spring into Action blood drive, and you have a chance to donate blood today until 5 p.m. By the way, Baldwin EMC is located on Highway 59 in Summerdale. What a wonderful way to make a difference there. Well, soon the gates will open for the 10th annual Downtown Cajun Cook-Off in Cathedral Square. Fox 10, once again a proud sponsor this year, will be among more than 20 tents cooking up your favorite spicy dishes, and it's absolutely delicious. Now, the event is this Saturday from 10 until 2. Please come out, say hello to us, and try some great food. If you did not buy tickets online, they'll be $20 at the gate, and all proceeds go straight to the Child Advocacy Center here in Mobile, Alabama. I will be out there mid-morning time and would love to see you there.
The standoff to fund the government lingers on. I'm Alexandria Hoff in Washington with more details.
Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday today. Fox News has learned that ICE agents have been trained in TSA procedures and are now located at airports assisting with everything from crowd control to screening passengers, pitching in as TSA sick-outs rise. TSA agents are set to miss yet another paycheck tomorrow as a deal to end the DHS shutdown appears dead after Republicans accuse Democrats of moving the goalposts with unrealistic demands. From Washington, here's Fox's Alexandria Hoff.
With a 2-week congressional recess looming, the pressure is on to get a deal done to end this partial government shutdown.
We're now on day 41 of the disgraceful Democrat shutdown of Mark Wayne's department.
This week, Republicans made an offer which Democrats rejected, saying it didn't have enough changes to immigration enforcement.
The White House, President Trump, and Republicans have made so many concessions. They ended the Minnesota surge. Kristi Noem is no longer there. They've ended roving patrols. They have added body cameras.
Republicans sent us their offer yesterday and contained none of what had been talked about, none of the reforms we had been discussing.
The acting TSA administrator testified before Congress Wednesday and revealed some grim statistics. TSA lines are the longest they have ever been in history, some topping 4 hours. Nearly 500 officers have quit, and many can't pay their bills.
Some are sleeping in their cars, selling their blood and plasma, and taking on second jobs to make ends meet, all while being expected to perform at the highest level when in uniform.
The head of TSA warned if a funding agreement isn't reached soon, operations at some smaller airports will have to shut down to consolidate TSA employees. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
11:28 now. Straight ahead, the post office could halt mail service. We have those details and more coming up in your business headlines. Plus, a youth summit geared towards helping students learn valuable skills as they get ready to enter the workplace. Our Stephen Moody takes us there after this.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 Midday.
Taking a look at your half-hour headlines today, a federal judge has declared a mistrial in the international parental kidnapping case against Haley Harris. Harris is accused of taking her 3-year-old daughter from the child's father in Orange Beach and fleeing to Mexico. Jurors told the judge 3 times they were deadlocked and could not reach a unanimous verdict. Prosecutors say they plan to retry the case, likely in May or June. Stay with us for updates on this story. Well, the Mobile Airport Authority Board voting to appoint Adam Hayes as the acting executive director. Hayes has been the chief development officer at the Airport Authority, and this comes after Andy Wilson announced he would be stepping down as executive director. Hayes will now lead the new Mobile International Airport project to completion. We're told the new terminal near downtown will be substantially complete by August. Airport leaders say they'll spend September training people exactly how it operates. In October, we are told that's when the first flights should take off. And finally, Spring Hill College is leaving the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, joining one of the most competitive leagues in the NCAA Division II, the Gulf South Conference. Spring Hill will field 15 conference-sponsored sports, including baseball, basketball, soccer, and volleyball, among others. The Badgers are no strangers to the league, though. They've competed as affiliate members in soccer and women's golf since 2014. The Badgers begin full-time Gulf South Conference play in the fall of 2027. Well, a youth summit was held in Mobile today to help students in our area learn valuable skills as they prepare to enter the workplace. But it also gave them a unique opportunity to speak directly to city leaders. Fox 10 News reporter Stephen Moody has more on what they had to say.
The I Lead Youth Summit in Mobile Thursday proved to be both important and informative. The students from Mobile County area schools spent the morning giving their input on what makes this area great and how to improve on it. And it started with a panel with those chosen to lead them into the future.
Hearing directly from the students, you can't replace that. And, you know, so much of what we were doing today was encouraging them to be heard. You know, Mobile's future truly depends upon activating these young people, getting them into the jobs and the career paths that they want so Mobile can continue to grow.
They also had different listening sessions and workshops, and following that panel, it was very clear that they had felt heard.
Well, I actually had the opportunity to meet Mayor Spiro a bunch of times, but we'll always keep talking about the same topic: violence, violence, violence. And one thing that my fellow colleague here said is community, and not seeing the community that it should be in Mobile right now.
I feel as though, yes, our voices were heard, and we know that they were listening to us, and even if they didn't take it all in, there was a little seed that was planted that was like, that could eventually grow into something else as more people continue to say the same thing over and over.
And I really liked how after our panel, we still continued to talk about the things that we were talking about on the panel, which made me know that they were actually listening with what was said on the panel.
I'm glad that all of the students were here and that the mayor was here, that all of these important people were here to hear these ideas and all of the information and to take all of that in and hopefully do something about all of our problems and what we presented today to everyone.
And leaders like Commissioner Merceria Ludgood were impressed as well.
It's going to take all of us, whether we're in leadership or just work in whatever aspect we're in the community. We know that there are young people out there who have something to say and open ourselves to be willing to hear what that is.
Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
Taking another live look outside, this time over at Fairhope Pier. We're seeing a lot of that clearing in the sky, the blue sunny skies poking out. Not much of a breeze though right now, as you can tell on that American flag. But current conditions right now across the area: 70 degrees in downtown Mobile, 72 in Fairhope, 67 in Evergreen, and 74 over in Pensacola. And as you make your way out the door over the next few hours, temperatures are going to continue to go up. It's going to be another warm day across the Gulf Coast, another above average day. Not much of a surprise there, but we'll be near 75 degrees by noon, 81 degrees by 2 o'clock. We'll be in the 80s for a good portion of the afternoon with a southerly wind bringing us that warm Gulf moisture, which is why we're feeling humid out there as well. But let's take a live look at there we go. For whatever reason, the graphics didn't want to move on through. Apparently you don't want to look at these hot temperatures, but forecast today broken down in our Mississippi counties: 76 over in Pascagoula, 82 in Hurley, and 84 over in Leakesville. Moving into our more inland counties, apparently our remote just doesn't want to work. Well, this one's dead, so take a look at these temperatures real quick. We're going to grab a new remote so we can actually get through these graphics real quick. And then taking a look at into our more inland counties, we're going to have a much warmer temperatures, mid-80s. We're going to have a high of 83 in Citronelle, 83 in Beatrice, 82 in Bruton, 82 in Atmore, and 83 over in Fruitdale. Mobile and Baldwin County will have a high of 83 in Citronelle, 81 71 in Bay Minette, 81 here in Mobile, 77 in Theodore, 72 in Dauphin Island, and then 76 degrees over in Gulf Shores. Then moving into northwest Florida, we'll have a high of 82 in Walnut Hill, 75 in Pensacola, 73 in Fort Walton Beach, and then 72 degrees over in Destin. Now moving into our muggy meter, over the next 10 hours, we're going to definitely feel that humid feel. We're in that big humid category with dew points in the lower 60s. We may get to the mid 60s later on ahead of our next front moving through. You hear front, you're probably thinking rain. Well, that's not actually going to be the case. It's going to be a dry boundary moving on through. So we're going to have a big humid category for our Thursday, Friday. That front moves through Friday night, then much drier conditions for Saturday and Sunday. Then on Monday, back into that a bit humid category, which means our pollen forecast not helping out all that much either. We're going to have very high pollen counts over the next 4-day period. So that sneezing, sniffling, not going away anytime soon. We're kind of hoping that'll clear out soon, but we're not looking good. But let's transition into tonight's forecast where things are a lot more pleasant. A warm feel, mostly clear skies, dense fog likely into the overnight hours. Now let's break that down on our enhanced fogcast. We're probably going to see some fog developing along the coastline and then moving into our more inland areas throughout the entirety of the night. A lot of purple. We're seeing a lot of half-mile visibility, which means we're probably going to see another dense fog advisory issued into the overnight hours. And we'll see some dissipation around 9-10 a.m., kind of like what we saw today, but this looks a little bit more dense compared to what we saw last night. So right now, though, let's enjoy the non-foggy conditions. But Orange Beach is looking absolutely beautiful out there. Many people enjoying the Gulf Coast waters.
All right, Hannah, thank you. A recent brush fire in Gulf Shores this week highlighting the dry conditions we saw across the Gulf Coast. Our morning anchor, Sarah Wall, is taking a look at where we stand with the rainfall, the impact the drought is having on everything from crops to allergies, and if there's any relief in sight. You can find that on the Fox 10 Gulfstream TV app, and as always, on our Fox 10 Facebook page by joining the conversation live weekdays at 9 a.m. with Sarah. And don't forget, the Braves opening day is tomorrow, and the team will look to get their first win of the season against the Kansas City Royals. You can watch it on MeTV, and you can see the specific channel depending on your provider listed there on your screen. It begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. sharp. And taking a look at your business news today, the post office looks at stopping mail service. Gas prices continue to rise, and Wall Street gets richer. Fox's CJ Papa has those stories and more in today's Fox Business Briefs.
The U.S. Postal Service may stop delivering mail by next year. The Postmaster General warning Congress the agency's funds will run out by next February at the latest. Also saying, quote, in about a year from now, the Postal Service would be unable to deliver the mail if we continue the status quo. It comes as the USPS is implementing its first ever fuel surcharge in response to the Iran war's disruption of the global fuel supply. Meanwhile, gas prices soaring to nearly $6 a gallon in California, $5.84 for 1 gallon of regular gas. The national average sits at $3.98. Chevron issuing a dire warning, urging Governor Gavin Newsom to declare a state emergency over gas prices. Discount fashion chain H&M held up better than expected in recent months, though it says strong Black Friday week sales were followed by subdued demand in December. Business picked up in February. Overall, sales were up 1% in the recent quarter. And a Wall Street bonus bonanza for execs. Bonuses jumping 9% last year, topping $49 billion. That's a record. New York State tracks the bonuses and says the average bonus climbed 6% to $246,900. CJ Papa, Fox News.
And with Easter now just around the corner, some good news for you closer to home. Carr Allison Law Firm in Daphne is spreading some holiday joy. The firm is donating 35 Easter baskets to Penelope House, a local shelter for victims of domestic violence and their children. The baskets are filled with both useful items like socks and toiletries and some more fun items like candy and toys. This is the first year the firm has donated Easter baskets to Penelope House, but giving back is something they do every year.
We've made this a priority firm-wide this year. Every single office is doing something different, and this is what we selected for Mobile.
Just appreciative that they would think of our clients, their children at this time, because a lot of times they come in and they may not have the resources to get items like this, and it's just a really great thing that they're doing.
A wonderful initiative there. Penelope House provides a safe place for domestic violence victims and their kids to escape. And this Easter, thanks to Carr Allison, they'll have a little extra to smile about. 11:42 now. Coming up, K-pop meals are coming to McDonald's. That story for you. Plus, a new study says aging could be impacting by your attitude. We have the details in your Midday Talkers right after this. Back into Fox 10 Midday today, a new study suggests having a positive attitude about aging actually keeps people healthier.
It followed more than 11,000 seniors over a decade, testing them for things like memory, math skills, and walking speed.
The results show participants with a positive outlook improved in the various areas more than the others who were monitored.
The research is out this month in the journal Geriatrics.
And I feel like this applies to every age demographic for sure. That's a good reminder. This is so funny. I'm about to turn 26, and I know that's not old, but I was talking to my husband. I said, man, I'm feeling a little sad for the first time this year. I know that's not old at all, but he was like, you know, every year's a gift. Just remind yourself of that.
It really is. And I'm sure
year,
that's one thing they would say. You hear a lot of older people mention that is a one thing each year is a gift. And, this is honestly something that a lot of us probably should take into, especially with a lot of negative things going on in the world.
Absolutely. We'll continue to have that positive attitude. Great reminder there on this Thursday. An American icon is getting a patriotic makeover.
Coca-Cola is releasing special edition bottles to celebrate America's 250th birthday.
The drink itself isn't changing, good news there, just the look on the outside.
The special bottles are being produced at the Swear Coca-Cola facility in West Valley City, Utah, a plant that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with 150 employees.
Okay, you'll be able to find the special edition bottles on store shelves starting next month. Coca-Cola, one of the many brands doing something special for the 250th anniversary.
It is, and I'm sure a lot of people will probably collect this. I saw some glass bottles in there as well, and I know a lot of people are huge fans of the glass bottle look, so this will be very interesting.
Glass bottles are my absolute favorite. I feel like drinks just taste better in them. I literally went to the store and I bought the San Pellegrino glass sparkling water the other day. So much better than the canned. My fancy self over here. Well, the K-pop Demon Hunters rivalry is coming to McDonald's.
The fast food giants announced its partnership with Netflix on Tuesday to offer 2 new K-pop Demon Hunters inspired meals. The pair of meals featured the animated film's 2 main rivals, girl group Hunters X and boy band Saha Boys.
McDonald's says each meal includes a collectible card pack featuring a photo card of either Hunter X or the Saja Boys. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, as well as a Derpy the Tiger access card to unlock exclusive content right there on the McDonald's app.
Even if you're not a K-pop Demon Hunters fan, the meals may still be for you. The company says the new offerings will bring flavors from McDonald's restaurants in South Korea. The new menus will be available starting March 31st.
Okay, so a few days from now. I have not seen the K-pop Demon Hunters, hence why I didn't really know how to pronounce all of those words there.
Yeah, I
you
have
seen
not
it?
either.
Okay, a huge sensation this year.
It has. There's always that one movie, especially that the kiddos are a huge fan of, and you can tell what it is during Halloween. And I saw a lot of K-pop Demon Hunters costumes over Halloween. So,
gotcha. That's going to be big with the kids. That takes me back to kids' meals at McDonald's growing up. They have some really great themes, and I'm really glad they're still doing.
I wonder if there's going to be any toys in it, because I feel like that's the best part of a kids' meal, right?
The collectibles at McDonald's, next level. I love it. Lots to look forward to there. It is 11:49 on your Thursday. Hannah, let's take a live look outside.
This is a live look over in Dauphin Island. Beautiful sunny blue skies out there. Many people enjoying the Gulf Coast waters. I don't blame them. Another warm day across the Gulf Coast. Well, one more final look at your forecast coming up after this break.
Welcome back. Responders and residents were no doubt relieved when a 911 call about a possible grass fire turned out to be just puffs of pollen masquerading as smoke plumes. Jeremy Roth has this story in today's Take a Look at This.
A 911 call about a possible grass fire turned out to be a false alarm when firefighters discovered the reported smoke was in fact just prodigious plumes of pollen. A homeowner reported smoke in some trees in Green Valley State Park, raising the alarm with the Creston Fire Department, which responded alongside the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. Officials quickly confirmed no controlled burns were taking place in the park, and after observing cedar trees sporadically releasing clouds of pollen that looked a lot like smoke, they put two and two together, deeming the scene to be of no threat. That is, unless locals in the area hadn't taken their allergy meds. And while those responders were all in, officials in Texas are throwing in the towel on a uniquely named town with a stolen sign problem. KLTV reports the Department of Transportation has decided to stop putting up road signs in the tiny town of Bug Tussle after some 70 signs bearing the quirky town's name were stolen over the years. It's an odd problem to have, but it seems locals saw the writing on the wall.
People keep stealing them. People just like the name Bug Tussle.
Nevertheless, signs or no, life goes on for the residents of this bustling Bug-Tussling-burg, all 15 of them. Finally, a bustling concourse in the Philadelphia airport was the surreal scene of a new world record for the longest line of cheesesteaks. The airport reports over 900 pounds of chopped beef and some 200 pounds of cheese were slathered on rolls by participants over a couple of hours as a judge from Guinness World Records observed and verified that the cheesy chain, some 1,291 sandwiches strong, clinched the new title. If only all long lines at the airport were this much fun. Too soon? Sorry. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
That food looks delicious. I want some right now.
You just have to leave it to Jeremy to make some sort of funny comment at the end. Make it a little lighthearted,
He has lots of personality. Sprinkle his personality on there every single story.
Exactly. Well, I wish he would help me out with this forecast sometimes, especially when it feels like you're a broken record saying the same thing over and over again. But for afternoon planner today, we'll be in the 70s till about 2 o'clock. Then we're back into the lower 80s. Another warm day across the Gulf Coast. Another well above average day as well. We have some lingering cloud coverage left over from this morning, but don't worry, we'll have mostly sunny skies by the middle parts of this afternoon. And here's a look at your day planner for tomorrow. We're actually looking at the possibility of much warmer temperatures going into our day on Friday, maybe even possibly breaking a few records in some locations. Temperatures will be in the lower to mid 80s across the Fox 10 viewing area. Cloudy conditions will probably have some fog as well. Probably we'll see another dense fog advisory issued tonight or early tomorrow morning, so keep that in mind. Then we have a front moving through Friday night. You probably hear front and you're probably thinking, oh, our next rain chance. Well, no, unfortunately not. It's just going to bring us some drier conditions and bring us a slight cool down. We've been in the 80s for quite some time. We'll actually be in the mid to upper 70s this weekend with some cooler mornings in the upper 50s. Now here's a look at our 7-day forecast and bring it all into perspective. Much warmer day for our day on Friday. That cold front moves on through, bring us a nice little cool down just in time for the Cajun cook-off, which will have temperatures in the upper 70s, plenty of sunshine. Our next rain chance looks to be mid next week on the very first day of April. Only a 30% chance there, so not a lot of us will be seeing some rain, but hey, we could definitely use it. And in the long range forecast, we are seeing the possibility of some rain as well, but we'll keep you updated here. Keep watering those plants. That is the name of the game for our forecast. It's been warm out there,
Yeah, it really has. I'm glad to see beautiful weather for the Cajun Cook-Off happening at Cathedral Square in downtown Mobile this weekend. Fox 10, a proud sponsor again this year. We would love to see you out there and meet you in person. We will be back with Fox 10 Live at 3, just 3 hours from right now, leaving you with a live look at the beach.